a Swavy, 17 adult and children, grandchildren. When the storm, we did hear about it, but we never stay over here, but we didn't have anywhere to move the furniture, and we get a cottage nearby a neighbor, so like we only take out like a few pieces of clothing. So when the storm over, after the hard breeze pass, when we come, we see everything flat and everything mash up and wet up. So. We come and we start take up some of the stuff, some of the children clothing, uniform, and so we start. When the MP came by and he also give us a mattress and food, some food package.
All right, homes and businesses in Clarendon were damaged by gale force winds associated with Hurricane Beryl. This morning, we spotlight the All4Ja Foundation, which has been focused on providing support to the area through food donations as well as providing assistance with the rebuilding of homes. Member of Parliament for Southeastern Clarendon and Minister of Labour and Social Security, Pearnel Charles, joins us this morning to tell us more about the relief work that's being done in the parish, as well as sharing how the broader society can play a part in aiding Clarendon. Welcome to Sunrise,
Welcome, Minister. How are you? Good morning.
MP, because it really is really MP work, a lot of MP work. I mean, yeah, but I have been saying that, you know, it is easy for us because of the scale of the damage in St. Elizabeth to focus our attention on St. Elizabeth, but there are many communities in Clarendon who were just as badly, if not worse, off. Tell us a little bit about some of the untold stories that we hear, that you've heard,
and that you've seen on the ground
in Southern Clarendon.
Well, you saw one a while ago. That's a family of 17. You have maybe a couple of them that we saw between Mitchelltown, Rocky Point, Portland Cottage, but there are several others. I mean, Rocky Settlement, Gale, Gibtown, Alley, Waterlane, Racecourse, going up into MP Cousins' constituency as well. The reality for us in Clarendon in particular is that the building stock was insufficient. So I believe, based on what I saw in St. Elizabeth, that they got the hardest hit in terms of wind. But they had a stronger building stock, so they could withstand it. That's why you see our assessments coming out with Clarendon having the most totally destroyed homes, nearly 200.
Oh, wow.
While St. Elizabeth has the most severely damaged. And both Clarendon and St. Elizabeth have more than 1,000 severely damaged.
Wow.
So, you know, the reality for us now is that we cannot do it alone. It requires partnership, which is why I gladly accepted to be here to represent All4Ja Foundation and several others. I mean, there are several other foundations as well pouring in support to All4Ja and otherwise coming in to assist us.
Right.
And I believe that it has really exposed and revealed who Jamaicans are. I mean, when you see that family, they were actually welcomed in by their neighbors who were in almost as bad a situation.
That's something I find fascinating about the Jamaican spirit, that the boundless care and love that poor people will have for other poor people, they will take care of each other in those moments. And that Jamaican spirit is on show in the parish.
I'm telling you, and you know, in the Rocky Point area in particular, it's the only shelter still open. I mean, right now as we speak, there are persons in that shelter because they've been dislocated, displaced from their homes. But we don't speak often of the several others who are not in the shelter, but who are not at home. Because they are with their friends, with their family members, with their neighbors. And so it really makes you have to look on the details of what is taking place if you're going to have a strong solution. So as a government, now with the minister cap, we're looking nationally, and we have categorized the damage into totally destroyed, severely damaged, and minor damage. And when I spoke in Parliament, it was at 8,700. It is now touching 11,000 assessments being done.
So how do we move forward, Minister? Because to my mind, I'm looking at the homes being damaged and all of that. Going forward, because we obviously live in a the area we live in, and you know, hurricanes are a part of our reality. Moving forward in terms of building codes, in terms of how we build, we have to build differently, because it doesn't make sense with penny wise and pound foolish, and then the homes are just going to blow away.
And we're still in a hurricane season.
Exactly.
Another one can come
at any time. So how do we move forward in terms of educating our citizens as to how to build, where to build, and so that we don't suffer so much in the future?
I mean, you said it. We've actually defined an initiative that we call Rebuild Jamaica. And we hope that it's not just a one-off thing, but whenever we have these disasters, we can reactivate it. But Rebuild Jamaica is going to be the government of Jamaica and partners, not just giving those cash grants, but coupling efforts to have resilient restoration of communities. So,
yes,
if you have a zinc roof and your structure can only accommodate another zinc roof, it must be with hurricane straps, with screws that strengthen the resilience. Where we can elevate the home because of you being at or below sea level, we do so. Right now, Food for the Poor is already on the ground without government, restoring roofs. So we partner with them by providing names and providing guidance as to who are the most vulnerable. And we're also exploring now and advancing a critical partnership with GEMS, the Global Empowerment Mission. They are already in St. Elizabeth putting on roofs. But we are going to partner with them. They provide material and resources, and we provide labor to see that those persons who are identified in that group of 11,000 as most vulnerable can get a more comprehensive, resilient, and sustainable solution.
Tell us a little bit more about what specifically All4Jamaica, who All4JA is, and what they're doing in the constituency.
So, you know, it's a group that has always supported Southern Clarendon, persons coming from Clarendon, and they've provided upwards of 1,500 to 2,000 packages, food packages, not just for Southeast Clarendon either, but across the Clarendon belt and even outside of Clarendon as well. And they have focused their attention on providing support to this rebuild. So identifying partners that can help them to get plyboard, to get bathrooms, to get all that material that will be required, so that what the government is giving, we'll be able to couple it to ensure that you can get a real solution. If you give somebody 150,000, it may do wonders for some families who can add on to it and get that support, but others, it's really a drop in the bucket for them. So we're disaggregating those numbers, looking to see who can handle and who really needs the support. Not to say that everybody doesn't need it, but we have to start focusing now in a conscious way on those most vulnerable, the persons with disabilities, the elderly, the single mothers living alone, and ensuring that they are in a better position, because this is just the beginning of the season.
Yes.
Right?
Really?
And that's why I was going to ask you too, Minister, finally, for those who are watching right now from overseas and even here in Jamaica, Clarendonians and otherwise, how can they give and help to support and bolster the efforts of All4JA and other entities? Because people want to give, but they want to make sure that they're giving to reputable people and places. How can persons dig in their wallets if they have them, and dig in their purses to help those who are in need at this time?
So, of course, as a government, we have set up a relief fund, and you can supply that relief fund with any support. And there are other foundations, NCB Foundation, All4JA Foundation, JWN Foundation, and several others that have accounts or mechanisms. The All4JA has accounts that they have put out. The persons can provide support, and they can also be contacted if you have, for instance, material. Now, one person who is a contractor actually called me and said, listen, Regine, I'm going to send you a container of material at cost. And then by the next day, he said, listen, forget the cost. We're sending it.
Wow.
And that has helped us to at least start in support for at least 10 homes. So, you know, I'm really, you know, happy to see that we're pulling together. There is a lot more needed. As we speak right now, there are persons listening and saying, but what about me? Trust me. And we acknowledge you. We acknowledge you. We know that there are several others that will say, I haven't been assessed. We acknowledge you. And we're going to create mechanisms for those who might not yet have been assessed to be able to put that information to me, whether it is calling the ministry, sending me something on social media to say, listen, here's my name, address, damage, and TRN. or simply sending us an email.
Yes.
But we're going to put that all up on social media, on my social media, P. Charles Jr., and also on the ministry's social media.
All right,
All
sir.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And all the best to you, sir. And, of course, everybody in the constituency, we send our love, we send our support, and we're kindly asking for those persons who can help, please be of some help. Every mickle make a muckle.
Yes.
One cocoa, full basket.
Yeah.
Our wonderful guest this morning, Pearnel Charles Jr., Member of Parliament for Southeastern Clarendon and Minister of Labour and Social Security. More Sunrise right after the break.